Mr. Cicero to please lead us in the pledge ceremony.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we get started this evening, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for Dr. Alfred Letterman. And thank you, Mr. Brown, for bringing this up for us. Mr. Letterman passed away on July 24th of this year, leaving behind a profound legacy of leadership and devotion to public education. Dr. Letterman served as the Director of Secondary Education for Southington Public Schools until 1978. Following his successful tenure here in Southington, he assumed the role of Superintendent of Schools for the East Granby School District until his well-deserved retirement in 1994. Can we please give a moment for Mr. Letterman? Thank you very much. Mr. Brown.
Can I just mention, Al Letterman was the guy that actually interviewed me, this has got to be 50 years ago, and hired me in Southington. And one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. We had great conversations, and we're saddened to see that he had passed away. But we go way back, 50-something years, and he was a good man.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And Mr. Brown, I think you have a motion for us?
I move that we move items 7B and C to 3C and D.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Okay. We'll move on to approval of minutes from our June 18th meeting.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And then we are looking for a motion to approve the July 30th meeting. That is the special meeting where Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Carmody, and Mrs. Anastasio were present. So those are the only three that could vote on that. So I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We don't vote, do we?
Right. Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Carmody, and Mrs. Anastasia.
Yes.
Okay. Move on to item B, appointment of principal for the Flanders Elementary School. Mrs. Carmody?
Yes, I move to appoint Mr. Jason Cesario as the new Flanders Elementary School principal. At
Second.
an annual salary of $151,361, effective August 6, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Would you call the roll on this?
Mr. Bakowski,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Camuso,
Yes.
Ms. Carmody,
Yes.
Mrs. Clark,
Yes.
Mrs. Darabowski Anastasio,
Yes.
Mr. Oshama.
Yes. Congratulations.
And welcome.
Welcome.
Why don't you come on up and say a few words?
Well, good evening, members of the board, members of our district team, Mr. Medancy, Mr. Pepe, and members of the Southington community. It's with great joy and excitement that I begin my tenure as the next principal at Flanders Elementary School. I am thankful to both the board as well as to the district administrative team for the confidence and the trust that you have in me to lead out this learning community. And I was going to say, like, I'm ready to get to work, but it's been about a week now, and I've been hard at work for the last week. Many of you are already aware, my family's away on vacation on the Cape this week, and so hopefully they logged in on time so they can see me. But one of the things that became very evident when I did my research on Southington was how much of a tight-knit community this was. And through the interview process, there were a handful of questions in all of the rounds related to the community that exists at Flanders. And I've been there for a week exactly as of today, and it's been evident as teachers are already coming in to get their classroom set up, already having conversations with parents. It's a tight-knit community, and I'm so excited to be able to support them. The bedrock of the work we do in education is all about relationships. And from the moment I set foot in the building and had a long conversation with the custodians and some of the tech people, all of those relationships are already starting. So I'm looking forward to not only a fantastic year, but a fantastic career here in Southington. And thank you all for the confidence that you have in me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We also have the privilege this evening of introducing the new director of the Karen Smith Academy, Mr. Mike Drury. Mr. Drury has a long history in Southington of doing a lot of good things for our students and our community, and we're really pleased to have you join us in this new position, Mr. Drury. Why don't you come on up and say a few words?
All right, thank you very much. I'll keep it short. Just want to thank the Board of Education, Mr. Medancy, Mr. Pepe, Mr. Arroyan, for kind of entrusting me in a very important role within our district. For the past 15 years, Southington has been home to me. I don't live in Southington, but I'm in Southington more than I'm in Bristol, I'll tell you that much. Also, my family's at the Cape, so I can understand that. I'm sure they didn't log in because it's probably insanity up there, but I just want to thank the district, number one, for the past 15 years to allow me to grow as an educator, a coach, and now most recently as a leader. I truly enjoy waking up every day, coming to school, working with the staff, the administration, second to none, and most importantly, the students. This past spring, I had the opportunity to go down to KSA, Karen Smith Academy, for the first time in my career. I was asked to go down there to help out with some of the supervision, help the staff and students, and the first moment I walked in, I immediately saw how invested this staff was to the students there. And the students felt at home, accepted, comfortable. So it was a great experience. Looking forward to improve and continue to build the culture there and help our students achieve the goals post-secondary wise within high school and help them overcome all the obstacles that may come forth. So I want to say thank you very much, and I'm looking forward. I've already been at it, working hard, so we're going to continue on. I welcome anybody to come down, visit, spend a day or a couple hours there or a half hour with the students, and I would really welcome you down there. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right, we're going to take a quick recess so the board members can come down and say their words to you two guys, and we'll reconvene in about 5 minutes.
I could say yes to
friendly
you, but I
board.
can't do that, darling. But you are nice and tan, and I don't like that.
Okay, come on in. All right.
There we go. Thank you.
We are going to reconvene our meeting, and we're going to move into public communications. We're looking for communications from members of the Board of Education. Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I got three things. First of all, the Wall of Honor. We met several months ago, and we finally have notified all the people, which takes a while sometimes because they're all over the place. I'm going to announce who they are, and then something really special this year we're going to do. So the first person, there's no particular order here, Joe Della Porta. If anyone knows, he's very active in the town. He's a veteran himself. He's involved with the veterans in town and the school system. But when you look at his resume, I just was going through it, it's 2 pages of volunteer work, so an amazing guy. Second is Mark Ramsey. Again, these are people I think many people in our community know. Mark's been involved with Lewis Farms, the LEAF program. He donates food to all kinds of charities in town. Again, another terrific guy. The third one is a guy named James Ben, who may not be quite as well known. James Ben is an author. He's written 21 books that have been published, which is amazing. Just talked to him this morning. The fourth one is Austin Florian, the Olympian. We decided not only was he a sports guy, but he's an inspirational speaker also. So he is going to be inducted. And the last one is Donald Dorman. Donald Dorman is the soldier who was shot down during World War II and was identified just recently and had a ceremony in town. So the special thing this year is normally we have a ceremony at the high school and it's very simple. This is our 20th year. We've got a little over 50 people on the wall, so we decided to go to the AquaTurf, make a big deal this year. We're going to induct these people and then invite all past honorees. It's December 8th, write the date down. It's going to be the event of the town of Southington in the last century because the people on the wall are just amazing. So we'll have more information about that as it comes out. Second is the Sports Hall of Fame. We're also meeting on that one. It's separate from the Wall of Honor. We are reinstituting that. We had our second meeting. We have a great committee. We are going to slowly go through the process of having applications, and that one existed until 2015, and then it was disbanded. We are now going to go back to 2015 and continue to now. More on that one. And the last one, I've been reading a lot of stuff recently about Scandinavian schools, and one of the things I'm reading about is how many of them have realized that we've overdone the technology perhaps in the classroom, and that they're going back to books and writing. A novel idea, no pun intended. I'm not saying we should do that, but I think we should examine the impact of the technology trend and this trend, because our job really is to find the best ways to educate our students. So I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay. Looking for communications from the administration.
Thank you, Mr. Oshana. Several items tonight, but some are just strictly informational. As you're aware, annually we have to submit our teacher evaluation plan to the State Department of Education for approval. Given that there were no changes to it this year from last, and it was approved last year, it was approved again this year. And so that's just informational to the board. Also, I had sent out some information recently, but I thought it was worth sharing publicly, just what a great summer our students had at Camp Invention. As usual, it was sold out. We got to see some video of the kids in action, and I just think it's great to see. It almost leads to, I actually responded when I got the video to the program director. There was no screens in any of the videos. It was kids just, hands-on learning, collaborative groups, and so very creative thinking. So just a nice use of time for our students in the summer, and so a great opportunity. Our summer projects and maintenance work, this is always the busiest time of year, and Mr. Romano and his team, the maintenance staff, never cease to disappoint. One of the big projects is the Strong Elementary School roof being replaced, and that is 90% complete, and it is on schedule to be finished on time and under budget. So we're proud to share that. I think most of us and a lot of people have talked about the Ag Sci barn. It looks amazing, and so next up to the barn is we're going to do some site work, and there's a former Ag Sci student who owns a landscaping company that's going to donate his equipment and labor to do rock hound the topsoil and plant grass seed there. So we also had some members of the district staff attend the open space committee last week, and they talked about the paddocks that we would need for the horses, and they talked about 2 paddocks. And when we talked about moving the livestock over there and then getting things set up, it's starting to become more realistic. So there was conversation about a possible ribbon cutting ceremony during the apple harvest weekend to try and just kind of acknowledge a lot of the people that were behind that work in making that occur. The tennis courts and parking lot project, I did send the board an informational email today. There will be 40 cement trucks on Pleasant Street tomorrow lined up, ready to pour the concrete for the tennis courts. And so that continues to be on schedule. Once that concrete is poured, it does take 28 days to cure before they put the top coat on it. So that portion of things will sit for a little bit. The parking lot itself, though, and the paving is scheduled to be completed on time for the start of school. And then the intention there is to shift the zoning in the surrounding neighborhoods in terms of the parking restrictions during school hours. So we're excited and grateful for the additional space that we have, and also that it's going to be ready on time. And we have the high school solar project. That is also on schedule to be completed on time. Also under budget, so we're proud to share that. And it's something that this is a unique one for us that we'll watch closely, because this is the first array in town that we own versus leasing and paying a portion to the company that had initially purchased and installed the panels. So it'll be outright savings for us, and so we'll keep the board apprised of that. And the last is the locker rooms at the high school. Again, internal work by the maintenance department, and just really try to overhaul and improve the condition of the boys' locker room. One of the things I've charged the athletic director with and the coaches is to make sure it stays that way. It's easy for it to fall in disrepair if kids don't have pride in the space and they think someone else is going to take care of it. So now that we've got it to a baseline where it's clean, it's well maintained, and it should be kept as something they should be proud of. And so coaches need to police it before and after practice. Coaches need to hold kids accountable that abuse the space. And kids need to have some pride in that, because a lot of people were behind the scenes this summer trying to provide them that space. And so we're thankful for that. Also, tomorrow we have our admin retreat. We do some time in 2 days in June, typically, to start the summer, and then we do a third full day in August when all of the administrators are due back. And I've asked Mr. Pepe to speak about tomorrow's topics for all of you.
Thank you. So the majority of Tuesday afternoon release days are dominated by professional development. That professional development is planned by our administrators. And this year we'll continue with 2 major topics. And tomorrow we have 2 gurus of one of the topics, Joanne Freiberg and Pat Chacon, and they'll be with us to talk about restorative practice, specifically restorative circles, and it's a great resource for our administrators. So the learning that will come from tomorrow with these 2 folks will be used to plan PD for our teachers throughout the year. The second is we have Dr. Ross Green, and you've heard me talk about the Green Team, and that's a cross-sampling of people in district. But our administrators aren't all in tune with Dr. Green's work. So tomorrow, Dr. Green himself will be with us for a few hours to give an overview of his theory, his processes, and we have next year planned 2 site groups, one at JAD and one at DES, where we'll have 6 total staff members who will be trained bi-weekly, 6-week intensive training on his model. And we'll also have myself and one other person yet to be named go into a 24-week intensive training that ends up being a trainer of the trainers. If we're successful the first 10 weeks, we get invited back for the next 14 weeks. I do plan to be successful. So it'll be an experience, and one that will yield support for our teachers and our students. So pretty excited about tomorrow.
Nice.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe. Another item informational to you. You may recall 2 years back, we were part of the Science of Reading Masterclass that CAPS and the State Department of Education put on. We applied again and were accepted to the cohort 6. So we have a full another team of staff attending the Science of Reading Masterclass this year. So it's a pretty intensive, comprehensive professional development series that Mr. Pepe and I both attended the first cohort when we were part of cohort 3 and found it to be extremely beneficial. So I think that'll help our students, and as we continue to focus on the science of reading. And then lastly, just some dates that are informational. We talked about tomorrow's admin retreat. Next Thursday and Friday is always a fun day. It's the new teacher orientation. Our entire admin team shows up first thing that Thursday morning. We meet and greet all of the new teachers. It's great to see. I mean, I look at the group and it feels like yesterday that I was one of them. How excited they are for their first teaching job, and also maybe a little naive. But we have great hires this year. We're pretty much fully staffed at this point, minus any last-minute resignations that we're getting. So they're well positioned for that orientation. And then our staff return on Monday the 24th, 25th, and 26th for 3 days of professional learning. And then our students will be here on the 27th. So it's all coming to a close pretty quick. And so I'm proud to share that a lot of the work that we needed to get done this summer in order to be ready has been completed. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for the administration?
Just one, no, no, you go. You go.
I had one quick question. So I received from Mr. Arroyan essentially the new cell phone policy, what the expectations are for students, which I think is great. One of the things that I had a question about, though, he did mention students with individualized plans which require the use of a cell phone will still be allowed to in classrooms. Can you take
Sure.
me through like what that would entail?
Yep. Yeah, for some students, they have apps that are associated with their phones, for example, diabetes. There's like blood sugar monitors and things like that. So there are some specific circumstances that there are specific apps, whether they're related to mental health, physical health, ailments and whatnot, but that has to be programmed for through the IEP. That's not a teacher saying yes or no based on, a preference to a student.
Gotcha. And is that something where, I guess at some point in a perfect world, where we could essentially supply devices that only have that particular app on it to make sure that?
Yeah, I think the challenge there is you have students monitoring their blood sugar in 2 different ways. They'll be monitoring it one way at home and one way at school.
That's a different situation. In my opinion, it's more like medical, but more like maybe if it's a learning-related program or something.
Most of the learning-related needs we are able to cover with the technology that we do provide them.
That's great.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
I know this isn't our area, but have the neighbors been notified up at the high school?
So, yes.
What's going on?
Yeah, nope, great point. And the correspondence that I had shared yesterday indicates that it was going to be blasted out when they were closer to the completion date to let the neighbors know when it would be starting. I think there's been a general awareness in terms of it's coming. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work logistically yet, because it basically says students can't, but neighbors and guests and stuff in their neighborhood can, and I don't know how you'll discern who's visiting a house and who's a student, But I'm going to leave that to the folks that handle parking and that type of enforcement, because it is off-school property. We will certainly cooperate and support any way we can, and if that means continuing to communicate with families and students we do sometimes see kids walking from certain spaces and they don't live on that street. Those are examples where if we can offer dual enforcement based on what we can see tangibly, we will, but we won't be policing those streets. We're going to leave that to the authorities. There is signage, quite a bit of signage that's going to be installed to make that very apparent. And quite honestly, the amount of spaces we are adding, I'd be surprised if it does become a challenge. Every kid now will have an assigned parking spot, and when we did the math, based on the kids that didn't get parking passes last year, mostly juniors, all seniors got them. We believe we will have enough to accommodate all of the students that are going to drive.
Okay. And about tomorrow, with the parade of cement trucks, that I just had a thought, do people in the neighborhood know?
We did
about it?
notify the police department.
Did they put it, I
Jimmy
didn't see
Armack
anything
was
on
notified,
Facebook or
so
anything.
we leave it to them to deal with the traffic.
I know it's not our thing, but I was just curious to see if.
We did put it out to the police department.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll put something on Southington Docks.
It'll be around town, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure within 15 minutes it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what company is supplying the concrete?
I do not.
I'm just, my cousin works for Tilcon, so I was just wondering. Or F&F rather, so I was just wondering.
I would imagine it's a combination of a lot of companies.
I can't wait, I'm really excited.
Yes, me too.
40 is a lot, that's.
40's a lot.
40 is a lot of trucks, I'm very excited.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda is communications from the public on items on the agenda. Is there anybody that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? Okay, no, we will move on then to, excuse me, the superintendent's report, the personnel report.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the personnel report as submitted by the Human Resource Department.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Old business, any town government communications, Mr. Bedancy?
None.
Okay, excellent, nothing. New business, the class size report, initial class size report.
Sure, I can speak to that. Proud to share that we are within the board guidelines across the district at all schools in all grade levels. Some are pushing up against the fringes, but still within or under the guidelines. And I think we were able to do a well enough job, especially in the early grades, to try and maintain the best that we could with the staffing that we have. As I say every year, this time of year, the next 2 weeks is a very much a flurry of registrations and withdrawals. So this is really a very fluid document at this point in time. So we can give you definitely a more concrete look at these numbers again at the September board meeting once the school year is started.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions on the report?
I was
Mrs.
gonna
Clark?
say, how many, we're down 10 teachers from last year in the FTE total. Have we been going down
Yes.
over the, we have, okay.
So I want to say, and I should, I looked at the current one, 154 to 144. We went from 159 the year prior, so we went from 159 to 154 to 144.
Okay. But we won't have the actual number of students and number of teachers until the October, you have to report
Correct.
it October 1st?
The state uses October 1 as kind of the hard
Okay.
guideline for the student counts in PCIS. It's that student information system where they do all their accounts.
So this
That's
could-
what's used to determine like education cost share formulas in terms of the enrollment for students and all that. October 1 is when they truly finalize it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to public communications on items that are not on the agenda this evening. Is there anybody who'd like to speak about an item that was not posted on the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
7:29.
Steve, they're coming at 6 a.m. Can I go? Can I show up? I'd love to watch that. I love a.
Did you see all the rebar laid out and stuff?
No, can I really go? So wait, 6 a.m. like tomorrow 6 a.m. right?
Little kids.
My cousin works for F&F. He really does.
I'm
I'm obsessed.
exactly what time the trucks are coming. I think it might have been in the update,
Yeah, it is 6 a.m.
but
I can go there. I promise won't get in the way.
it's not closed. It's not closed, yeah.
Okay.
Even if you parked on Annalise, you'd be able to watch the whole thing.
I'm really excited about it.